Nothing in life is ever bigger than you are. And when you finally stop giving your power away to things that are outside of you or people, that's when you're finally able to stop sabotaging yourself all the time. If you feel like you're someone who is constantly holding themselves back from experiencing new opportunities, or you always have this fear of failure, or maybe you're afraid of success because you don't know how to handle it, or whatever the case is, maybe your limiting beliefs are just holding you back in one aspect or multiple aspects of your life for one reason or another. When you find that you are always self sabotaging, it's because you are giving your power away. You are making everything outside of you bigger than you. But nothing in your life is ever bigger than you. You're the only main character in your life. And when you finally realize that, that's when you make actual shifts, actual changes in your life that benefit you. This isn't necessarily about fighting off fear. If you're someone who you sabotage yourself because it's out of fear for whatever reason, it's not about fighting the fear. It's about turning inward and remembering who you truly are inside. Because the fear is not you. And whatever caused the fear in the first place, whether you're consciously aware of what caused it or not, is also not you. Deep down inside, you are a wholesome being. Like, you are whole and complete. You are perfect. And I'm not talking about like moral perfection. I'm talking about the completeness, the wholeness within you. I'm saying, like, if you were to start completely over, if you started your life completely over from a blank slate and you didn't have any limiting beliefs, and maybe you don't even have any beliefs at all, right? You're starting completely from scratch. And now you're able to mold and shape your beliefs into beliefs that are actually favorable for you. You don't have any past experiences, you don't have any conditioning. There's nothing there when you wipe yourself clean, right? When there's a blank slate. So when you do that, you're returning back to your whole self, your perfect self, the self that we are all born with, right? Before we start learning things or experiencing things, or before conditioning starts taking place. When you essentially turn into nothing again, right? When you go to nothing or turn into nothing, that's when you actually have everything. That's when you no longer lead yourself through or with fear. When opportunities arise, you go on and take it, even if there might be a little bit of fear involved, right? As you're taking that step, you're not going to let it hold you back, because you know that if you just follow this intuition, if you follow your intuition that tells you all the time, you know what, we're going to go and do this. We're going to take on this opportunity because I know that it's going to lead to something great, something that I've always wanted for myself. When you do that and you actually push the sabotage out of the way, that's when you are truly living, and not even just truly living, but that's when you are truly being your most authentic self. Because your most authentic self does not lead themselves from fear, from scarcity, from limitation. Your true authentic self leads themselves from wholeness. And that could actually be another video, because I know people get confused and they're like, well, how do I figure out who my authentic self is? Like, how do I know that? How do I achieve that? Right? But it's not about doing anything. It's not about becoming something that you are not. Your authentic self is something who you've always been. Because again, when you start with nothing, the moment you're born, you start with nothing. No limitations, no conditioning, no experiences, nothing. You're complete, you're whole. So that is your authentic self, because you don't have anything running in the background of your mind. You don't have any stories that, are tied to your soul, to your heart, that or to your subconscious, that keep replaying themselves over and over, the things that we hold ourselves back from in life based on stories, experiences, conditions. You don't have any of that when you're your truest or your authentic self. You don't have any of that when you're born, right? So when you become your authentic self, it's not about becoming someone new, someone that you've never met before. It's about returning to who you've always been. So in the case of, self-sabotage, it's normal to feel scared. It's normal to feel anxious. But the thing is, my point of this video is to not let anxiety or overthinking or fear or doubt be who you are, because none of those things are who you are. But see, when we hold ourselves back, when we sabotage ourselves, we unconsciously make it a part of who we are. We kind of tell it to ourselves like it's our narrative, but it's not. You are not bad experiences. You are not bad emotions. You're not bad feelings. And you can change those experiences again by just becoming nothing. Simply ask yourself, what would I do, or who would I be? How would I feel in this moment if this was day one? So it's not about starting over in linear time, right? It's just about becoming observant of what it is that, first of all, you're observing in your life. And in this case, right, in this video, we're talking about self-sabotage. So becoming observant of the thoughts or the patterns or the feelings, the emotions that take place when you are sabotaging, and also being aware of what do you actually want. Because none of us wants to feel scared all the time. None of us wants to feel doubt all the time. None of us wants to miss out on opportunities that we feel would actually benefit us. That's not what we want, but that's what we focus on. That's where our attention goes. That's where we give all of our power away to. So when you take your power back, you observe the things that you've been putting your awareness on that don't serve you, and you start putting your awareness on things that do serve you. And again, that starts with a blank slate. So become nothing in order to become everything. And I know that seems very simplistic, but it's because it is. A lot of the time in life, we like to overcomplicate things. And it's really not that difficult. It's not that complicated. You don't have to worry about all the logistics, right? In fact, just throw logic out of the window, because things don't have to make sense. They really don't. If you ever think about it, before I start side questing, because I feel like I'm already side questing, but have you ever realized when you're in the shower or you're washing dishes and you get these light bulb moments? Or maybe it's like you lost your keys or something and you couldn't find them, you tore apart the house, but then all of a sudden, a day later, you're just hanging out watching a movie and you're like, wait a second, I forgot to check this one place. And then you go and check real quick and your keys turn up like it was nothing, right? It was so effortless. Or like I said, you're in the shower and you get this brilliant idea that you had been, thinking about previously, but no matter how hard you thought about it, you couldn't come up with the brilliant idea. But then all of a sudden, you're just completely thoughtless and this thought pops into your head and you're like, oh, wait a second, that's the one, right? It's because in those moments, you're not doing anything. You're sitting on the couch watching a movie and you're just consumed with the movie. You're not overthinking. You're not feeling anxious. You're not doubting yourself. You're not, being scared of anything. You're just in the moment. You're doing nothing. You're being nothing, right? Your limitations are not running in the background. Or if you're in the shower, same thing. You're not doing anything. You're just chilling, like you're washing up. That's it. That's why when you're doing mundane things or just things that even bring you joy, where your limitations are not running in the background like they always do, that's why brilliant things happen or ideas pop into your head, or something happens that wouldn't typically happen if you were trying to logically or consciously go about doing something. So again, before I go off on a bunch of different side quests, if you feel like you're self-sabotaging, turn inward. and really ask yourself, if I could start over and I didn't have any bad experiences, any limited beliefs, anything like that, what would I truly be doing in this moment? And whatever that answer is, it doesn't matter what it is. Maybe you'd be going for a walk or going to get a coffee or opening up your favorite book or calling up a friend or whatever. It doesn't matter what it is. Even if it doesn't make sense to whatever, situation is in front of you that you're trying to resolve, just go and do it. When you ask yourself, what would I be doing right now if nothing existed, if I could start over? And go and do it. And you might be surprised at some of the things that just naturally pop up, ideas, or even people that might walk into your life all of a sudden while you're out doing that thing you feel like doing. It doesn't really matter how it's going to happen. It's just be your authentic self. When you are your authentic self, that is when you stop self-sabotaging. That does it for this one. I will see you guys again next time. Love you. Bye.